In today's video, I want to give you 4 of the worst pieces of advice you may have been given for pain from your herniated or bulging disc that you've got to stop following, and why you should stop following it, because it's going to mess you up. So if that is you, if you have a herniated or bulging disc, you've tried some things that people keep telling you to do, maybe your PT, maybe your physio, maybe your mom or your dad, and it's not working, make sure they're not one of these 4 things. That's awesome. Thanks for the advice. What else should I do? Well, I want to give you a strength approach. If you want to go to fitnessforbackpain.com/pain-free training, I will strip you of all of your stretches that you're doing and dead end core exercises that you're doing and give you a blueprint of what you should be following if you have a herniated or bulging disc or any kind of disc injury, whether it's been corrected through surgery or not. This blueprint is your new Bible, except it's not that big and wordy. The first piece of advice that you've got to stop listening to is to stretch more, or to even start stretching. Once upon a time, there was a young man who thought bringing his knees to his chest every day would help the pain from his herniated disc. Well, it didn't. End of story. You see, the problem is we chase the sensation of tight muscles quite often, right? We have this stretch reflex, or we have this protection mechanism that gets released when our body is going through pain, when it has an issue. Maybe it's what you've been told about your spine, or how much damage you've had done, or the fear and anxiety around potential surgery because of your herniated disc. All of these things play a role in how your body is responding to said injury. And that often comes with kind of a subconscious contraction of the muscles in this specific area. That can float around. They can go from the QL, they can go from the hip to the glutes to the low back, all over the place. That's just the name of the game. The second part to this is getting more stability in the low back versus mobility. Right? So we're on this theme of stretching, trying to relieve this tension that we have in our low back due to our disc injury or herniated or bulging disc. And we kind of chase after trying to gain more range of motion, or trying to pull these muscles apart because they feel so tight and stretched out, like 2 rubber bands or a band being just pulled from end to end. Sure, there are areas of the spine and all over the body that can benefit from some mobility, but when it comes to your low back, it is not one of them. The second piece of advice that I think is just god-awful is following one method and one method only. The McGill method sucks. McKenzie all day, baby. Right, yeah. So extensions and cobra poses are just gonna heal the world of disc issues and back pain. Well, back pain isn't healed by 3 magical core exercises, and your jacket's stupid. You're in Florida. Why are you even wearing that? Well, at least I'm building strength in the people who follow my stuff and not creating some flaccid version of a spine that you do. You look stupid in that jacket. It's too small for you. There are a lot of great aspects to the McKenzie method, to the McGill method, to all the methods that you can find at your local spot versus on a global spectrum that has more recognition. But the problem is that is still giving authority to one person having the answer to all the issues, and that their way of doing it is the perfect way of doing it. And I just don't believe that, and it hasn't worked for me, and a lot of the people that I see come into my sphere of influence has the same experience. Instead, what I always suggest people do, and what I've built my own process off of, is a hybrid method, taking aspects of a lot of different areas when it comes to pain. 3 key areas that I think are the most important part that you need to have inside of your program from end to end is movement. A lot of people have movement in their programs, that's good. Strength, a lot of people have strength in their programs, so that's good. And then pain science. A lot of people do not cover pain science as it pertains to chronic low back pain. This is one of the biggest contributors to the results that I'm able to see for myself, along with a lot of the students that I have. Understanding the way psychologically to reduce your sensitivity, build resilience back in your body through movement and strength, and work towards building confidence and changing the narrative about what you experience or what you've been told by your medical professional that you can't or shouldn't do, and then going off and actually doing it because you give yourself enough space mentally and physically to get stronger and to prove to yourself that you can do way more than you think you can. The third piece of advice that I think we've got to get rid of is wait until it stops hurting. Don't go for a walk, wait till your back stops hurting. Don't go to the park and walk your dog. Don't go to the gym. Let's rest, bed rest, and then wait for your body to calm down before we get back into activity. If you are highly, highly sensitive and you're in a terrible flare-up right now and nothing you do works, I think there's a desensitizing time for your body to calm itself down so that you can start applying better strategies. What I don't think is a healthy thought process is thinking that I have to be pain-free before I start doing the things that I love. It's not just about exercising. It's not just about, going back to work and being able to be at work pain-free, but there are things that you do in your life that are way more important, like your kids, your family, your hobbies, things that bring you joy, than simply spending more time in the gym. And there's some research out there that actually suggests that people who grade their pain level and how much they should or can do in the gym or as an activity based off of a pain scale. And this is a really good opportunity to give yourself a little bit of grace or a little bit of window to do some things that might be challenging, that might maybe cause a little bit of irritation, but if you know when and where to stop, it's not gonna send you into a massive flare-up. And in this research paper, it actually shows two groups of people. One group of people said that they're not gonna do any kind of exercises until they are symptom-free. Once they go symptom-free, they start. There's another group of people that said, I'm gonna do activity, exercise, whatever it may be, but I'm only gonna allow myself and my body to get to a 4 out of 10 on a pain scale. So 10 being the worst, 1, 0 being, no pain at all. They're gonna allow themselves to get to a level 4 out of 10 before they say, hey, you know what? I think I've done too much for today. I'm gonna calm down. The results showed that both groups saw improvement with their recovery and reduction of pain with the activities that they were doing based off of both parameters or limits to what they can do. So if you're more of the fearful type, you go out and you wait until your symptoms are under control. If you're like, you know what, I'm chomping at the bit to exercise and get out there, I've got to do something, it's okay. Go out there, a little sensitivity, a little pain here and there, it's not a big deal. The fourth worst piece of advice that you may have been given is to simply just go build a stronger core. Maybe do some Russian twists, some crunches, maybe some sit-ups. Yeah. Put some weight on your chest and do some sit-ups. That'll just build a bulletproof, ironclad core. No, all core exercises are actually not created equal. And 3 of those, the Russian twist, sit-ups, and crunch, are actually terrible for someone who has some kind of disc injury. Instead, swap all of those flexion-based exercises and add endurance and coordination-based exercises in a neutral position. Some of my favorites are Pallof presses. Another one is a side plank with a leg raise. You can also do a modified dead bug. Those are awesome exercises and you can make them fit a lot of different people with a lot of different varying sensitivity levels in different positions. So don't sell yourself out to one specific version of an exercise or a type of exercise, and don't do core training that actually provokes or pokes the bear at what your issue may be. A lot of twisting, a lot of bending to someone who has a herniated or bulging disc or symptoms potentially from that diagnosis will not have a good experience doing those exercises outside of neutral position. So if there's ever 4 things you've got to stay away from, it would be those pieces of advice. I encourage you, a disc injury, bulge, herniation is not a death sentence. You have a lot of room to see improvement. You just have to make sure you're doing the right thing. If you're like, oh, that sounds great, Will, what should I do? I want to give you that free guide. You can go to fitnessforbackpain.com/pain-free training. I will show you exactly how to apply exercise to your disc injury. If you've been fused, if you've had some kind of herniation or bulge, or you've had some kind of spinal correction because of those injuries, this free blueprint is everything you're gonna need to go into the gym and be confident with what you're doing is not going to cause more pain, more damage, or put you back on the operating table. fitnessforbackpain.com/pain-free training. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next episode.